And we are back here on Fox 59 tonight. Good evening to you. I'm Cameron Riddle. We were having a conversation about how these two, Marlin Jackson and Dr. G, which by the way, I coined that phrase, Dr. G.
We have to fight about that one. I don't know. No.
Many of my students will say otherwise.
It sets nicely, but Marlon's work inside schools here in Indianapolis, and Dr. G, your work with trying to combat absenteeism. We got into a deep conversation about how we got here, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, the headline here is that now for the first time, Indiana schools will be classifying why students are not at school beyond, because we put on, I know we do it, absence or excused absence and an unexcused absence.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much the only classification we have.
Correct.
Like a doctor's appointment, if you bring a note, is an excused absence, but not.
That in itself is tort.
Yes, which we're going to get into because with this new classification system, now I'm like, okay, I want to see how this works. And as Marlon pointed out, you guys are already doing this in several schools in Indianapolis, at Sankofa, at one of the Phelan schools. And so we'll talk about that. But what this means is when a student misses school or is late, I assume, tardies count?
Yeah.
Okay. That information is tracked to find why they are not at school when attendance was taken. And so just this morning, so here's where our worlds all connect. I drive a school, I run a fleet of school buses, and today I drove one.
Wow.
I drove one for the AM route before I came here, and the bus is actually outside the station right now. And here's what happened. I drove the route. One, I created the route, so I know the route very well. And then I drove it. And I hit all the stops. Even if a student wasn't at the stop, I stopped. I put my stop arm out. I waited. I looked. It was raining, so I wasn't in a rush. I want to make sure we got everybody. I made sure nobody was left behind if they were there. Got to school on time, 7:45. Dropped them off, checked my bus, headed here to the station. I got here just after 8 o'clock. Here's where I'm going with this. At 7:53, I got a phone call from the school, and they said, such and such just called, said she was at her bus stop at 19th and Harding, and the bus never came. Do you know if the bus was running? It's the bus late. I said, actually, I drove the bus. It was me driving, and I was at that stop, and there was nobody there. Well, she said the bus never came. I am positive. I said, it's actually the third to the last stop on the route. There was nobody there. I stopped. I vividly remember there was no kid running to that stop. There was no kid at that stop. And so presently how that goes is it gets chalked up to, oh, the bus didn't come or the bus driver didn't do something or I didn't have
excuse.
Yes, it's an excuse, which in this case I am firm in saying, no, you just missed the bus.
Yeah.
And so in some of your schools that you guys are doing this program in, it's not just going to end there, because if the student says the bus never came, and I said the bus came, and it's on a GPS, it's just usually just, that's the end of it.
Right.
And so there's this weird, like, well, what really happened?
Yeah.
That's what you two are trying to figure out.
Yeah, well, to gather a profile, right, where, excused, unexcused, being absent, that's one thing, but then it's actually rooted in when they are there, what do you see, right? How do they treat their peers, their peer relationships? How do they engage with academics? And then drawing alignment from that data to align that with absences to create a profile, essentially almost a behavioral or social emotional wellness profile that then is helps categorize students into based upon MTSS, tier 1, low risk, tier 2, moderate, tier 3, high risk, but it's goes beyond the absent, and it becomes about the actual school attendance. When they are there in the building, how are they behaving? What is their experience? Are they being bullied? How do they treat others? Are they apathetic when it comes to completing assignments? Do they elope from the classroom? Are they bullying other students? What is their home life like? Right? What is the nature of the relationships in the household? Do they have loving, caring adults that help with their homework, that clothe them, that keep them clean, that feed them, right? It's all of that information that then creates a profile to determine the level of risk. And then aligning that with the absences is now driving who are the true at risk students. So
Correct.
then when you build that profile, you have indicators that will point to this student is on track for a tier 3. And for us, this is a developing predictive analytics, right? The same thing as what we see with our cell phones and our behaviors and our patterns with what we search or what we look at determines what ads we see, right? It's the same approach, but just with behavior and social emotional wellness, all dependent upon what behaviors, with academics, with peers, all dependent upon emotional wellness, home environment. It helps determine the level of risk and then the level of support needed to meet that student where they are. Because we're speaking about the transportation, also the sickness, these barriers, but another barrier is just belonging, right?
Yeah.
Is this a place where I want to be? Do I feel safe? Do I feel welcomed? Are my needs being met in this building? That is positive school attendance when you create that type of environment.
So let me jump in right
But
there
that's
with
the
the
gap.
the so the call that I got this morning, what you'll do is find out, okay, if the bus came and the driver says he came, what's the real problem?
What's underneath the surface is getting to the root of the problem and not just seeing the surface and saying, well, that's it. Every issue runs a lot deeper. It's just, do you have the systems, tools, and processes in place to go deeper? We are the system, we are the tool, we are the process to go deeper to unearth that information.
And that's the classification system at its core, right? That's what we're asking for. The first portion of the legislation that talks about record keeping is exactly where you're going. It's easy to figure out using your GPS that you went to that stop or not. What time did you go there and what time did that student actually come? The student already knows the system. So it's easy for the student to say, the bus was not there, and therefore it's an excuse based on the system versus an excuse based on the student being late. We've been tracking that type of data for centuries. It's a part of the schooling system. What we haven't tracked are all of the others, all of the why, all of the isms, all of the hidden details of it. My perception of social bonding instrument, one that took me 15 years to create and validate with several colleagues, but it's a process of capturing all of that, asking the students, is feedback being asked of you from the school system? When you give feedback, is that feedback used? Is that climate appropriate for you? What are other things that are happening there? Do you feel attached? Do you feel committed to what's going on? Do you feel involved? And where there are gaps in that, then giving the school the information to do exactly what you've been talking about, Marlin. But the Building Dreams platform is the first ever in the US that's able to then capture that from the student level to the teacher level to the administrative level, and enough to give data to respond.
Because this could be the situation that you're talking about right now. There could have been an assignment due.
There was AP testing today.
See?
So that creates anxiety. So if you look at the history of the student and you pull their check-in, check-out responses, and you see whenever there's been a test, they always they check worried, and then they check their stress level a 7 to a 10. So now that is informing you of this is a possibility that there was testing today. We've seen in the past when there's testing, the student has anxiety, and which may cause the student to not want to show up. This is something that has occurred literally at one of our schools. A student has anxiety about the reading lesson today, having to read in front of the class. That student expresses that in the check-in assessment. They're checking that they're worried. They're giving the notes as to why the upcoming reading prompt today in class. They're saying that they're a 7 through a 10. The educator has this before they get to the lesson. So now they change their approach with that student when it comes to the lesson. That is the relating part, as a part of the relationship. Now, how do you think that makes that student feel? Wow, they heard me. right? They see me. Oh, I rock with this. I rock with this educator right here, right?
And I'm smiling because I like that the data will go beyond the surface level classification so that you can find out that indeed the bus did come. So then we can
Exactly.
so that we don't get blamed for that.
Agreed.
I
But that's
think
the other piece too that we want to put in. A lot of people hear research and they think it's this big, hairy thing that they can't grasp. It's really just collecting any type of information. So you take 10 steps, you're collecting information. Which direction did you take those 10 steps? Was it, right or left? Was it forward or backward? Are you going to repeat that again? And if you repeat it, do you expect the same result? And that's the stimuli, pattern, and behavior that the Building Dreams platform is able to do, which links to my perception of social bonding instrument, which links to attendance and absenteeism, because it's the number of absences. And you have to figure out, were those absences going in one direction or another direction? And do we need to reclassify, reorganize in order to make sure the intervention hits that problem?
we've got some pictures that that we can show of some of the students here in Indianapolis. At this point, they're at a pizza party that Marlin was throwing here.
Provided by Papa John's, one of our sponsors.
And I was going to say it looks like Papa John's. I know a good Papa John's pizza when I see it. What you were doing, Marlon, with these students was already about behavior and where they come from at home. But where you two connected was, well, if you're trying to do that and you're trying to figure out absenteeism,
Exactly.
maybe there's a connection here. So let's work together on this.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that this is the real power in all of this is researchers and practitioners.
Yes.
And collaboration and the innovation, the impact that comes from this unique needed collaboration. Like there has to be these practitioners that are exploring, these researchers that are looking for answers, like and they find commonality, and they come together. Like it is amazing to experience the growth and to experience the impact, because we really are we're making a systemic impact. It's phenomenal to go one for one, but we are impacting educators, admins, students, parents, right? Where it is literally the village. And we are connecting the village around the experience of the student, to empower the student to advocate for that quality. And the first know what is quality, right? To teach that so that then they can identify it and they can possess it. But it only has taken off and evolved when we've had the right people. And the right people, we needed researchers. Like we were practitioners exploring, but being
How many years
informed.
deep are you in this?
Oh, in totality, 18. Right after we won the Super Bowl that summer, I started Fight for Life. On the technological lens.
God, it's been that long.
Yeah, right. Who you telling? But on the technology side, it's 7 to 8 years in total. From the ideation to 1.0 to 2.0 to where we are now. And Caroyln just came at the right time, and is the right people, the right time. Is always what's needed. But when you experience that, like, because you can beat your head up against the wall sometimes when you don't have the right team around working. I won't say not around you, but working with you. Because it's working with you and we're moving in the same direction. And sometimes when you don't have that, it doesn't feel like you're going in the same direction.
Yeah.
And it creates tension.
And I think you called it yourself. You're the practitioner of this. Yeah. And that's the research.
Yes.
And her research helps to quantify and solidify. Validate is the word. Thank you, Doc.
Literally,
is the word.
Literally.
Yes, is the word that I'm going for. That validates why you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
And it also validates, if I may switch a little, it also validates why I am at Butler doing Founders College. If we do such a damn good job in K-12, why do we left the child to flounder? I think Emil talks a lot about this, that students are very clear from InnoPower. He talks very clearly about students know after elementary school they go to middle. After middle, they go to junior high. After junior high, they go to college. And after college, it's like, or after high school, it's like, I do not know what's next. Parents don't know what's next. They can't afford it. All of these things are anxiety provoking. And they leave what's supported systems that they know the climate, they know the counselor, they know what's happening, they know the food, and they cannot do college. Founders provides a pathway that says, we understand K-12 and we understand it in a way that we can ensure that when you come and we remove these barriers, you too get to author your own ending and succeed.
And Founders College, by the way, is a new thing.
Founders College is a brand new college. It's
Tell
the
us.
7th college on Butler's campus. It's a 2-year interdisciplinary, non-residential college experience where Butler is removing the costs. So students get to go pretty much no cost, little to no debt. We provide all the resources from laptops to meals to supportive transportation to textbooks, gosh, everything you would need in addition to, I was just going to say, in addition, it's the wraparound supports in college from the counselor, the writer studio, speaker studio, social worker, career coach, internships and placement, industry certifications, all of the things that we know work.
If someone said, what is Founder College, and you were to answer it in 2 sentences, what would you say Founders College is?
It's removing the randomness of student success in order for you to achieve. It's a 2-year opportunity. You get to graduate with no debt and get a college degree right at Butler University in 2 years.
In what? Any
in
subject?
Business management, data analytics, youth and community advocacy, and healthcare. And providing good pathways after that for those who want to go into work versus those who actually want to go on to a 4-year degree.
Access to opportunity.
Access to opportunity.
And it's new.
It is brand new. And those who want to be a part, come on over. Founders.butler.edu.
And it's led by the right person.
Well, I was going to say.
Most importantly, it is led by the right person that has been conditioned and developed for this time at Founders College.
Well, and I was going to say, I think you're underselling who is running this. Does that make you a founder of Founders College?
I'm a founding dean. Yes. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I appreciate Butler for giving me the opportunity to do this and for the entire community coming alongside me to do this. Marlin and Chelsea and many others have made this possible as well.
So again, big event coming up, Attendance USA.
Yes.
When is that? It's May 20th.
May 20th to the 21st. We have over 250 people coming from across the U.S. just to talk nothing but attendance, but to do it together.
What are schools saying about this? What are your schools saying? By the way, we got to shout out the schools that you're already in.
Well, our schools are excited. Any time attendance is at the forefront, it's an opportunity for learning, for collaboration. So there's a lot of excitement. Our schools are excited about the attendance conference, but they're also excited about the Building Dreams Champions Breakfast. We're going to host our 3rd annual Building Dreams Champions Breakfast at the Skyline Club, downtown Indianapolis on Friday, June 13th from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. And it's phenomenal to be able to be here with Caroyln and tell the story and to both promote, the initiatives and events that we come, because it all works together. It all works together for the good of the community. And our educators that we work with, they're excited about the attendance conference. They're excited about being recognized at the Building Dreams Champions Breakfast, because that's what it's all about, is shining the spotlight on our administrators, on our schools that have done a great job with implementation, on our students that are modeling all of the behaviors and characteristics that we want to see, celebrating our community partners, because community partners play a big role in the impact that we're able to create and have, and even volunteers, like lifting up the people that give their time to the community, that continue to show up for Fight for Life. We're excited about everything that's going on over the next 3 weeks with the attendance conference, with the Champions Breakfast. There's a lot that goes into it, but I think we are both built to carry the weight that we've been assigned.
How can name the schools? We named a couple of them. Sankofa. There's several families. So one of the families.
Yep. So Frederick Douglass 19, Charles Fairbanks 105, GV PLA 48, Promise Prep, Leadership Academy, Family Leadership Academy, Paramount Schools of Excellence, the three campuses: Inglewood, Cottage Home, Brookside, and then Summer Learning through Summer Learning USA. Amy Beverland, Lawrence Township is a new school that is going to be coming on, and then we're in the midst of finalizing a few things with a couple other districts as well to expand our reach, which is going to grow significantly next school year.
How can if principals and superintendents are watching and they're hearing about Building Dreams for the first time, how can they find out more, get a little demo?
Yeah, I would go to fflf.org. That's short for Fight for Life Foundation.org. And take a look at our technology tab, to look at that page, look at our programming, and look at the Building Dreams page. Check out our blog, and then you can contact us directly through the website to request a demo. We have over 20 functions and features in the technology, but we always only focus on 6 when we're rolling things out to make it easy to digest. So
give me that website one more time.
Yep, fflf.org, short for Fight for Life Foundation.org.
Gotcha.
Excellent.
And because I was pulling it up, I've got it right here so people can see what the website looks like. So this, and you mentioned the technology page here, and this is where people can come learn more.
That's right. That's where you can come and learn more. You can explore, and then you can literally discover what it is that we do and the unique nature of our work and the impact of our work through the technology. Because I see you scrolling right now, and as you scroll, you see it's more than just technology. Because having technology is one thing, a product, tools, but how are you going to deliver that product so that it becomes sticky with your users, right? That is how you ensure fidelity with implementation. Is for us, it's our proven process of the point of discovery, alignment, partnering, signing the agreement, onboarding, getting your credentials, coming onto the system, training, to the point of implementation, following the guidelines, supporting you with the guidelines, to the point of support, professional developments, office hours, check-in meetings, to the point of impact, us reporting to you the impact that we're having through all of the data, through all the engagement and all the data that's being collected.
And there's a email right there, information at fightforlifefoundation.org, that people can click on and send you an email. And then, of course, Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube stuff all right there. I wanted to point this out before we go, though. I always ask people, how can they help? Because you're doing the work, but you don't do it by yourself. And you could use a little help, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, one aspect that we haven't talked about are the supports. Be a Blessing field trips. We do these monthly. We'll resume that next school year. Students earning the experiences that they receive to go to the Children's Museum, to go to the zoo, to go check out a movie at Living Room Theaters and Bottle Works, going to a trampoline park. I think next year we're going to be adding in Republic Airways, a flight simulator. Cool. So just access to opportunities. We need volunteers. We need people to come and chaperone field trips. We need people to show up for our holiday celebrations that we provide.
And when are you doing this stuff? Is this during the day? Is this on weekends?
It's generally a Thursday or Friday once a month for the field trips, and then from the time of late November running through about December 20th, we have a toy drive. We do toy sorting. We distribute the toys, and then we throw Christmas parties for at least 2 of our schools. We provide gifts for all of the school, all 6 of our Be a Blessing schools. And then it also is always funding, right? That is, if you are compelled from this interview, from this story, to give, that is always welcome. And if there are any funders out there that are looking for innovative work to come alongside and a partner to create impact, come on down. Let's partner. Let's work together so we can continue to increase this impact that we're having.
And Dr. G, how can people get in touch with what you're doing?
I want to begin with the Attendance USA conference. So, attendanceusa.org is our website for those who want to learn more and come alongside us. This is the inaugural year of that work as well. And for those who want to participate in any way possible, the email is the same, info@attendanceusa.org. But I think one of the things I want to put in around the conference is when I had this idea and other colleagues said, yes, this is good, go for it. There are people who gave up resources just to get it off the ground. So Warren Arts Foundation was willing to come alongside us. They've seen great movement in attendance using some of the platform, but the Raw We platform and others. But Director James Taylor has been behind me from the beginning. We've had some DCS workers just really pushing and supporting this work. Shalnika out of Louisiana. So many people coming along. But we also thought that it would not just be practitioners or educators, and the IU K-12 partnership said, we have 40 or 45 K-12 partners who want to learn about this. We will pay to send them to this conference, right? So it's not just one person, but all of us coming together. So anybody that wants to learn more, email us at info@attendance.usa.org. And anybody that wants to attend the conference, May 20th to the 21st, please visit the website, attendanceusa.org, and we would be delighted to, one, welcome you, two, get you on a committee, and three, figure out how we can change the world together, one life at a time.
Dr. G, Marlin, thank you for one coming, but your work to something that I know is overlooked. Like I said, I work in that circle as well, and so I know I see where the kids live as a bus driver. I see what the teachers don't see. I see where they actually live, and I see who's at the house or who's not at the house, what neighborhoods they come from, what the living conditions are, and so and.
Thank you too for
Yes,
what
right.
you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you. There's levels to this that
That's
people
right.
There
That's
are.
right.
don't
There are.
understand, and so I'm glad to hear that you'll go beyond just the classification, just not I've missed
Yeah.
school, but why
Why?
you miss school.
It's always about that why.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think it'll make.
That should be a new song. It's all about the why.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, that is going to do it for us today. We are out of time, but this has been a good conversation to find out how you two are making a difference. And again, website one more time.
Yeah, fflf.org.
And Doc, your website one more time.
Attendanceusa.org.
Come see them in person on the 20th. And that is at
Marriott.
Marriott
Marriott East
Marriott
Downtown.
East.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Fox 59 Tonight. Remember, download our app on your smart TV and subscribe on YouTube so we keep you updated on everything that is happening in and around Indianapolis. And then we'll talk again Sunday morning on my radio show, 106.7 WTLC for Open Lines. And we'll also talk about what happened this week in the city. I'm Cameron Riddle. Have a good night.